first, back to pets. Of course, we often say a dog isn't just for Christmas. Well, a rabbit isn't just for Easter either. One woman from Sevenoaks says bunnies can be actually harder to care for than puppies, and people shouldn't buy them on a whim. It might feel like a nice idea. It's very cute, isn't it? But actually, you've got to think about the practicalities. Lucy Midway, dressed as a rabbit, and walked nearly 6 miles on Good Friday to raise money for a local animal rescue centre and remind people that pets aren't just for lockdown. And I'm really pleased to say that Lucy joins us this morning. Thank you so much for being here, Lucy. It must have been quite odd dressed as a rabbit walking around. Good for you. Did people react with a smile?
Yeah, they did. They loved it. I was walking down the road with cars beeping and waving and kids asking for photos, walking down the high street and walking through Knoll Park. So yeah, people loved it.
Yeah, brilliant. A lot of fun. But of course, a very serious point behind it as well. And I'll be honest, as I mentioned, I'd seen all the puppies around and about. I knew that was a thing, but I hadn't thought about rabbits. But it seems like it's a real problem.
Yeah, and also especially at Easter, actually. In 2019, the RSPCA rehomed, had their busiest month in May, straight after Easter, due to people buying on a whim. And a lot of pet shops have tried to combat this by stopping sales of rabbits, with that build up to Easter, just on the weekend. But there are so many rabbits in rescues across the UK that I would really encourage people to rescue rather than buy as well.
Indeed. So what's the problem? Do you think people haven't really thought it through? Like, rabbits are amazing creatures, and of course they are so cute, but they're quite hard work, aren't they, to look after?
Yeah, they are, and they require a lot of space. So, when you go to the pet shop, you see these hutches, and even if you buy that absolute largest hutch, that isn't even what the RWAF, Rabbit Welfare Association and Fund, actually recommend. They recommend 2 meters by 3 meters of space continuously 24/7.
Right.
So sort of locking them up at night in a hutch isn't really what you want to do, because actually rabbits are very active very early morning, those times that we're probably not even really up and about, and certainly not putting them in a run. So you might find that when you put them on the run outside during the day, they're actually quite relaxed and not really running around at that time.
That's interesting, because they've got their own rhythm, and as you say, it doesn't necessarily mirror ours. And back to basics question, Lucy, but I wonder, should we be keeping rabbits as pets anyway? Wouldn't they be happier, in their natural environs, running around in the wild?
Yeah, well, of course there are wild rabbits, and actually the pet rabbits are very different from wild rabbits. They have been bred, to be in people's homes, and a lot of the time, actually, people keep them very much like they would cats indoors. Have a litter tray, litter train them, and can free roam their rabbit around. But of course, with those things, they can be destructive as well. They can chew, so you can kind of you have to wireproof your home if you want to do something like that. Otherwise, it's what people might the way they might keep them is in a garden, a large garden shed, or even a room in their house. So they're taking up quite a bit of the home. Yes. But yeah, they definitely, to sort of let them loose outside, they would not kind of have those same exact instincts as wild rabbits would. And it would be detrimental to them.
That's interesting. And I suppose a lot of it will be children, right? Children pressurising their parents. Please, mummy, daddy, I really want a rabbit. So you have to be wise to that, don't you? Because, mucking the rabbit out every day, looking after it, like it's not just a pet that you can just have and let wild or whatever, is it?
Yeah, exactly. I'm sure I was one of those children when I was younger and first rabbit, but fortunately my mum also kind of wanted a rabbit and looked after it, but I certainly can see the side of getting kind of bored of a pet, even though I've kind of created a business now based on care for rabbits, guinea pigs and hamsters specifically. So yeah.
It is, isn't it? It's a minefield, I think, that kind of situation. And I suppose it's just about having that awareness. I mean, do you think in a way, it's a bit too easy just to go into pet shop and buy a rabbit? You should maybe take a test, or at least go through some basics first.
Yeah, it's definitely way too easy to just go and buy them. But if you go to, a reputable rescue, they will give you lots and lots of help, like bobtails rabbit and guinea pig rescue that I raised £400 for. They, they have loads of information on their websites about all these things and things to consider, like the common reasons that people give them away, including allergies as well, things like that.
Yeah, actually, I hadn't thought of that. Yeah, really, really good point. So if people want to donate, really good cause, of course, Bobtails Rabbit and Guinea Pig Rescue in Epsom. How do they do it, Lucy?
They can go to gofundme.com/F, and then rabbits are for life, not just for Easter. And if anyone has rabbits, or they're thinking of getting rabbits and they want some kind of tips on litter training and things like that, they can go to my website, littlecriticare.co.uk/resources for some free resources.
Lovely stuff. And final point, Lucy, but watch out. I think our producer will be after your rabbit costume. Producer Michael loves to dress up. So just a heads up on that front. But well done for doing it. And of course, keep in touch with us here at the Wake Up Call. That's Lucy Meadway from Sevenoaks, who did dress as a rabbit to raise cash for her local charity. Time now, 8:52. Showbiz news on the way. But let's find out what Steve will be talking about after 10 this morning. Not dressed as a rabbit.
No, I'm really not dressed as a rabbit. No, more gerbil today.